I've had a lot of jobs over the years, nothing glamorous, mostly entry-level stuff, internships, part-time work while I was in school, and a few office jobs after I graduated. And like most people, I've worked with my fair share of strange coworkers, awkward ones, quiet ones, the ones who talk too much or don't talk at all. But there are 3 people I've worked with who still stand out to me years later, not because they were annoying, not because they were bad at their jobs, but because each of them crossed a line in a way that still makes my stomach tighten when I think about it. Story 1, the intern who watched me. When I was 20, the summer before my senior year of college, I landed an internship at a financial services firm downtown. It wasn't anything impressive, mostly spreadsheets, data entry, and sitting in front of a screen for 8 hours a day. But it paid well for an internship, and everyone kept telling me how good it would look on my resume. There were 8 of us interns total, all crammed into this open office area with low cubicle walls, just high enough to block your computer screen, but low enough that you could see people walking by. It was impossible to feel truly alone. Most of the interns were normal, friendly enough. A few of us would grab coffee together or complain about the workload. One guy took the job way too seriously and barely spoke to anyone. But he wasn't a problem. The problem was Alex. Alex didn't stand out at first. He was tall, thin, pale, with messy dark hair that always looked slightly greasy. He dressed a little off for a finance office. Nothing inappropriate, just wrong somehow. Like he didn't quite understand the environment he was in. The first strange thing he did happened during my second week. I was working at my desk when I felt a presence behind me. I looked up and saw his head slowly rising above the cubicle wall. Because the wall was low, it made him look unnaturally tall, like his body was hidden and only his face existed. He tilted his head and smiled. It wasn't a normal smile. It was stiff, stretched too wide, and held for too long. Then he spoke in this soft, exaggerated voice, like he was performing a character.
Working hard or hardly working?
I laughed awkwardly, because that's what you do when you don't know how else to respond. He kept smiling, didn't move, didn't blink. After a few seconds, he just walked away. At first, I brushed it off. Interns are weird sometimes. People try to be funny and miss the mark. But it kept happening. Every day, at least once, his head would rise above my cubicle wall. Same smile, same head tilt, same voice. Sometimes, he'd say something random. Sometimes, he'd just stare at me for several seconds before speaking. Sometimes, he wouldn't say anything at all. The worst part was that he only did it to me. The other interns noticed, but they thought it was some kind of inside joke. They laughed it off. I laughed it off too, even though every interaction made my skin crawl a little more. As the weeks went on, his visits lasted longer. He'd lean over my cubicle for minutes at a time, watching me work. I'd make excuses to leave. He rarely took the hint. Then one night, about 6 weeks into the internship, I got a phone call. It was from a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer, but I was waiting on a delivery confirmation, so I picked up. I said hello. There was silence. Then I heard his voice. Same tone, same forced creepiness.
The tide's coming in, he said. Better pull your boat out of the water.
He said it louder than usual, almost like he was reciting something. Then he laughed, not a normal laugh. Loud, unhinged, like it burst out of him. Then the line went dead. I stared at my phone in disbelief. I had never given Alex my number. Not once. I texted the number back, asking who it was. The message failed to deliver. When I looked it up, it was a landline. The next Monday, Alex wasn't at work. I asked our supervisor about him. Turns out, he'd been fired the previous Friday for not doing any actual work. When I told them about the phone call, a few of the other interns admitted he'd made them uncomfortable too. They assured me it was over. I believed them. Until one morning around 5 a.m., when I woke up feeling like something was wrong. I looked out my window. Alex was standing in my backyard. He looked up at my window and said my name in that same sing-song voice. Then he laughed. I called the police. By the time they arrived, he was gone. I never saw him again. Story 2. The grocery store coworker. I was 17 when I got my first real job at a grocery store in a small Vermont town, the kind of place where everyone knows everyone, and nothing ever really happens. Most of my coworkers were around my age. We'd chat during slow hours, complain about customers, talk about TV shows. It felt safe. There was one coworker named Sean who worked in the dairy section. He was quiet, older than most of us, and a little awkward. I barely noticed him at first. Then, he started messaging me. At first it was harmless, questions about shifts, work-related stuff. Then it became personal, what music I liked, what I did after work. Compliments that felt slightly off. I tried ignoring him. One day, he casually mentioned my favorite TV show. A show I had only watched at home and never talked about at work. A few nights later, I heard tapping on my bedroom window. When I finally told him I wasn't interested, he replied, "Okay, good luck changing your address." That was when I involved my manager and the police. He was fired the next day. A restraining order was issued. Even then, I slept with my lights on for weeks. Story 3. The Storm and the Locked Office. When I was 26, I worked at a small insurance office in Pennsylvania, one long room of desks, flickering lights, coffee-stained carpet. One Friday, a massive storm rolled in. Most employees were sent home early. Only 2 of us stayed. Me and a new guy named Tom. As the storm worsened, the power went out. Emergency lights kicked in. Phones went dead. I realized the doors were locked. Not accidentally. Chained. Tom said it wasn't safe to leave yet. When I tried to use my phone, there was no signal. When I turned around, he was standing in the doorway with a flashlight under his chin, smiling. I hid in a supply closet, while he walked the halls calling my name. Eventually, the front door shattered. I ran. His car was left behind, his phone, his wallet. Tom was never found. I don't tell these stories to scare people. I tell them because they taught me something important. Danger doesn't always look dangerous at first. Sometimes it smiles at you from over a cubicle wall. Sometimes it texts you like a friend. Sometimes it tells you it's just trying to keep you safe. And sometimes, by the time you realize something is wrong, it already knows where you live.